Alright, welcome back to the Dinopedia. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like if you like, dislike if you don't, subscribe down below. Let's get into it. So I haven't made a video in a while. I've been doing some game development stuff. I've been developing the alpha testing for my game Dino World. As you know, the board game. It's going to be a video game in the future, but right now on my own, so really just got to get the advertisement up. So I made a lot of improvements to the game, and I just wanted to reload some of these videos from Dinopedia. I'm going to go through and I'm going to start making a series because it's spring break week. I'm going to be making a full video series going over all 85 creatures that will be in the main game when it is released to the public of the board game. There'll be 85 creatures plus 5 boss, not 5, plus 3 boss creatures that can be put into the game. And yeah, let's get it started with the Allosaurus, one of my favorite dino types. Let's get into it. So the schedule for this video is a brief summary of the work that I've done, version progress. So if we've talked about alpha, beta, main versions of the board game, update schedule for when the board game is released, what will happen to the Allosaurus updates, and some variant cards. Of course, it's a board game, so there's going to be variant cards and extra stuff, extra merch. All right, so let's get into it. So of course, the Allosaurus, we've gone over all of this before in a former video, but just a brief summary. Kingdom Animalia, group reptilian. Description: horned theropod. Theropods are three-fingered, three-toed, big carnivores. They're basically the main carnivores of the Dinosaura group of animals. Of course, all dinosaurs are reptiles. Some of them are bird-like, but they're just still reptiles. Traits: it's aggressive. A spawn limit in Arc Survival Ascended is 3, and it is a level 2 spawn. What this means is that the player, when playing the Dino World board game, there's a level up system, and until the player reaches level 2, then the Allosauruses are unable to be spawned by the wildebeest, the enemy sort of DM-like character, who's basically like spawning all these creatures for the players to deal with. The Allosaurus cannot be spawned against a player who has a level lower than 2. So just keep that in mind. So of course, the Allosaurus has health stats similar to Arc. It has a health of 650 health points, stamina 270, oxygen 150, food and water 3,000 each, weight 400, melee 35 and 25. It has 2 attacks. One is a bite, the other one is a claw attack. It has a speed of 6.5 meters per second, a swimming speed of 3 meters per second, and a torpor of 1,000. That's for taming. We'll talk about that in a bit. So of course, the spawn rates for an Allosaurus, you can see that the main map of Europa looks a little bit different. You may notice that the redwood and the cherry wood biomes are gone, and the map is a little bit more segmented. That's because, remember, if you watched the Dino World summary video, I talked about how the game is going to be played similar to Settlers of Catan, where each region is going to have its own number, and if you roll 2 d6s to die. So you can get either a 2 snake eyes or a 6/6 for a 12, and anything in between. Then you can go to any area on the map that has that in it. So let's say this taiga is 2 and this Badlands is 12. If you roll a 2, you can go to the taiga, but if you roll a 12, you go to the Badlands. So similar to that, the entire map of Europa has been segmented. And if we look at where the Allosaurus spawns, remember it spawns in volcano areas, which include the volcanic area, snowy mountains, and also the taiga. So it is very likely few to likely will spawn in the volcanic areas of the map marked here. Rarely will spawn in the snowy mountains area right here, and very rare to spawn in the taiga areas right here and here. All right. So of course, in the alpha variant of the game, which is what is currently being tested on, I'm testing it with my dad, some family members, and some friends. So I'm getting some tests, trying to make it so that I'm doing the 2-person and 4-person tests, but it can be up to a 6-person game. So it is good for the full family. The alpha version only has basic stats of health, speed, damage, and torpor, and only has a single option, bite attack, that does 35 damage to a player of choice. So of course, very limited stats, but of course it is the alpha version, so right now we're just testing with the bare minimum. Number 2, the alpha version has been player balanced, so it has a spawn limit of 3, so you can't spawn more than 3 of them, and it also, as said before, player level 2 requisite for spawning. So basically, the wildebeest cannot spawn an Allosaurus against players with that are level 2, that are level 1 or lower. So they have to be level 2 for you to spawn an Allosaur as the wildebeest. So in the beta version of the game, there will be some added stats: stamina. This means that the Allosaurus may have to rest during combat. That is because the beta version is going to experiment in some with multiple attacking Allosauruses or multiple attacking dinos, so that each Allo just can't wail on a player. They do need time to take rests. So in the main version, taming will be the #1 priority. So there will be ways to tame with that torpor stat. You can use 12 trank darts to tame to knock out an Allosaurus, feed it food, and then tame it, and then make it your own dinosaur so you can ride. Mating and breeding will also be, since you've already tamed, you can mate a male and a female Allosaurus together. Breeding lays an egg every 3 turns. So every 3 turns, a breeded and mated female Allosaurus will lay an egg. Eggs will hatch after 1 day, and will hatch into a baby Allosaurus. And after 3 turns, so baby is first turn, juvenile second turn, and on the 3rd turn it will be a full-fledged adult. So it takes 3 turns for a baby to mature into an adult, and therefore, basically, if you want to look at it this way, eggs take 3 turns to lay, will hatch after 1 day. So basically, a day cycle is a day and a night, so 2 turns, and then 3 turns growth. So you'll have a baby every 3, 5, 8. So every 8 turns, you will get a new Allosaurus from a breeded and mated female. And then #3, there's boosting. So there'll be boosting, mate boosts. So 2 Allosauruses that are male and female that are mated will do 25% more damage and have 30% more health. And if they are in a pack of Allosauruses will have 35% damage per member and 25% health boost per member. The main version will also have an Alpha Allosaurus. This is the head of the pack. If you get 3 Allosauruses, which it makes up a pack, you will have a Alpha Allosaurus and 2 other female Allosauruses. The Alpha Allosaurus will have a health of 6,500, which is times 10 its normal health, stamina 250, speed 6.5 meters per second, a damage of 87, which is times 2.5, and a torpor of 2,500, 2.5. So an Alpha Allosaurus is much harder than a normal Allosaurus, but it is an alpha, so you will expect that. Also, there will be multiple attacks. So in the game of Ark Survival Ascended, there are 2 attacks, a bite attack and a claw attack. In the main version of this game, it's a little bit different. There's a bite attack with a bleeding effect on it that does 35 damage, and there's a tail whip attack that knocks back dinosaurs and other players out of range that does 25 damage to all affected targets. And of course, continued, the main version 6 will add a passive abilities to certain dinos. So Allosauruses will have 2 passives given to them: a cement truck passive times 2 speed when in mountainous biomes like volcanic areas or snowy mountains biomes, and rocky skin when critical hits do not do extra damage. So basically, if you get a headshot on an Allosaurus that is on critical health, its rocky skin will prevent you from doing extra damage. So good luck with that. And then #7, each tamed Allosaurus will have a combat ability that they can use. This is only for tamed Allosauruses. They'll have a natural defense when critical, 50% resistance to projectiles, and 50% stamina boost, and times 2 max torpor. So instead of having a 1000 max torpor, they now have a 2000 max torpor, which makes it times 2 as hard, doubly as hard to knock them out during battle. So that is their combat ability, but is only for tamed Allosauruses, so do keep that in mind. And of course, so the Allosaurus will have, so as this game works, each creature has its card that the wildebeest will use to show off its stats and figure out how it will attack. Now as the game progresses, and there's more variants that come out with new maps, new boards that have different types of maps and different types of creatures, there'll be different cards that you can collect. So the normal Allosaurus card is the wild and tamed dino variant. It's the normal Allosaurus card that will come with the base game. But there's also a second card, which is the mutated Allosaurus. In future variants, there will be a chance to mutate dinosaurs when breeding them. A mutated Allosaurus card can be used when you have 2 tamed Allosauruses plus a gene computer, which will come in future updates to the board game. You can use a gene computer card when you are in the process of egg laying. We said that it happens over 8 turns. So every 8 turns, you can use a gene computer during those 8 turns to get a mutated Allosaurus, which the players can use mutated cards to have updated stats for their Allosaurus, and it will make it look a little bit cooler than the regular one. Regular one, mutated one. And then of course there's an Alpha Allosaurus, so when the Alpha cards get released, there will be Alpha Allosauruses in the game, and they will look much better. They'll be on fire. They'll have red glowing eyes and some lightning coming out of their eyes because they're alphas. They must look intense. And basically they'll have boosted stats. We've already gone over it when they're in a pack of 3. One Allosaurus card in this pack can be replaced with this variant card. So let's say you're the wildebeest and you're going against 3 players. You can throw down 3 normal Allosaurus cards, but with the Alpha Allosaurus card, if you do have one, you can replace one of those Allosaurus cards in the 3-member pack with an Alpha Allosaurus, only if it's in a pack of 3. So you do have to use 3 Allosaurus cards, which does take up a lot of points, because Allosauruses do cost a lot of points to put out there against the player, but it is doable. And if you do have the Alphasaurus card, then it is highly preferable for a wildebeest who is a little bit angry at the players to throw out a challenge like an Alpha Allosaurus card. And then finally, there's some other ones. These are some ones that will come out later, much later in time. If the board game really takes off, I do want to add a lot more variant cards, because more variant cards equals more variants to the game, and does allow a lot more strategies for the wildebeest. Because the wildebeest is kind of weak in most of these, even though it can throw out basically any creature it wants. If the players are high enough level, max level is 3 currently, but it could go up more if there's bigger creatures like the Giga. But I do want to make it so the wildebeest has a little bit more fun with collecting cards, because if you have more variant cards, then you can be more creative when you're going up against skilled players. So the skeletal Allosaurus is a skeletal version of a normal Allosaurus that spawns during a Necronomicon event. I will touch on what the Necronomicon is when the Necro variant of the game comes out. It's a new map, and it's basically like Extinction in Ark Survival Ascended with corrupted creatures, and there is a Necronomicon event where there's skeletal creatures that spawn and terrorize the map. So there will be a skeletal Allosaurus card for that variant. There will also be a Paleo Allosaurus. This Allosaurus variant will be tied to a new map that will be coming out soon as well, and it's basically based on the Paleo rework mod for Ark Survival Ascended, making Allosauruses look like these beautiful, they kind of look like they're from the planet from Avatar. I forget what it's called, but if anybody's seen the Avatar movies, these kind of look like the Avatar planet type style for this. But I think it looks cool, and we'll try and make the card look not exactly like this because copyright reasons, but try and keep the color scheme and make it look a little bit more unique. And then there will be a Darken Allosaurus. The Allosaurus variant will be found only in the large underground cave system of the Haven map. The Haven map is a new map that me and my friends drew up while waiting for class. There was a 2-hour delay, so we had to just sit and wait for the class to start. So we were just like, you know what, let's just maybe come up with some more map ideas instead of just using Europa. So we came up with the Haven map, and it has a large underground cave system. So we were like, you know what, why don't we have 2 variants of creatures, ones that spawn on the top of the map on just the basic main area on land, and then ones that spawn in the underground cave system below. So there's a Darken Allosaur that looks like this. They have glowing eyes, they have little light fixtures, bioluminescence, and some spikes on their back, and they spawn in the underground cave system of Haven. But there's also another variant, the Evo Allosaurus, and this is an Allosaurus variant that only is able to spawn on the Haven map when not underground. So the Darkens spawn underground, but the Evo Allosauruses spawn below ground. And also they spawn on the Zyklon map, which is also another map that was designed by our friend Sherm. I'll debut his map when when the board game takes off. So we do have 2 other maps besides the Haven and Zyklon maps, but The Haven map is the one that's going to have the variant cards. So that's 7 variant cards, the normal, then there's mutated, then there's paleo, then there's skeletal, then there's darken, evo, and I'm forgetting one, but I don't remember which one it is. Alpha. So you have the normal Allosaurus card, mutated Allosaurus card, alpha Allosaurus card, skeletal card, paleo card, darken card, and evo card. So 7 variants of Allosaurus. Again, more will come, but these are just the base 7 that me and my friends have brainstormed for the game. And then finally, the Allosaurus may have potential upgrades in the future. Cement truck, able to carry cementing paste and stone more effectively in later variants of the game. And terrain tank can move faster in mountainous areas and up steep hills. So of course, that is going to be the end of the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like if you like, dislike if you don't, subscribe if you like it. I'm going to try and get to the other creatures. I wanted to just first talk about the Allosaurus to just showcase all the work that I've been doing to make this game good. I've been averaging around 3 games per day, and it's been around 3 weeks since the last video came out. So I would say I've play tested the alpha variant probably 50 times, and varying results, I still have yet to get a good feel for what I want the beta version to look like. I mean, 50 times is great and all, but between 4 players when it's supposed to be like a 6-person game max, it is kind of hard to balance things, but I'm trying to get more people to get involved to play test, but that's going to be the end of the video. Everyone have a blessed day as always. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Toodaloo!